don't know if you can tell, but I haven't brushed my hair this morning and already the dog is going crazy. Juno, no. Don't do it. Don't do it. I already let you outside. You came back inside. That's your problem, not mine. The more eye contact I make with her, the more she's likely to bark. I guess I'm going to take you on a little tour of my house while I go and take her outside, since the stream just started. So this is my dark hallway where I follow my dog as she leads me to my, I don't like super messy. My kitchen is super messy. We quarantine cleaned. We haven't cleaned. Enjoying the world outside. Okay. I told her I wouldn't lock her out, but I swear she comes back in and barks at me again. We're gonna have words. Okay. So that was a fun adventure. Oh, jeez. Now I have to set up my jankety tripod again. Nope. Maybe. Okay, so welcome. My face is really shiny in this light. I feel that shiny. Shiny isn't feeling these days. So it is. My home studio is a little bit different today because it's getting warm here in Texas. Got into the 90s yesterday. Not my favorite. It's just a precursor to what's to come. And so I'm trying to get in as much of that cool morning air as possible into my house before I have to close up and pretend I don't exist. It's so hot. Really isn't that bad. It's just I don't want to run the air conditioning right now. I don't normally run the air conditioning during the day because I'm not normally here. Yeah, so there's a lot I could talk about regarding air conditioning, but that's not what Thankful Thursday is about. Because although I am thankful for air conditioning, that's all I'm going to talk about right now because it'll make me sad. I am thankful for my husband. I'm going to say it every week because it's true every week. But I'm also pretty sure he wouldn't want me talking about him on the internet. So I want it known. I'm very thankful for my husband, especially in this quarantine. But let it be known. Second by me. Okay. Sorry, I was like messing with my tea over here. There was a distinct temperature difference between the top and the bottom. Not cold. Oh yeah, the bottom's really cold. Let me just stir it up there with my finger because this is hygienic. I did just wash my hands, for the record. I mean, obviously before I opened the door and all that stuff, but this is my house, so I can lick the walls if I want to. Free country, it's America. Anyway, so what I was saying about the windows being open is you might hear some outside sounds that you might not normally have heard before, but that's life. Sorry about it. So what I'm thankful for today is a little internet experience I like to call Discord. It's funny when you call it that because the name of the app is Discord, like discordant or like like chaos or like whatever. But when I say it's an experience on the internet, it sounds like it's bad. So that's fun. But yes, Discord is a. Let me see if I can do some quick Wikipedia. It is basically a chat. A chat app. It is a it started, well, I guess I can Google it. I can give you, I did this with Magic a little bit, didn't I? So I can talk about, I can do this with Discord. Oh, that's not gonna come up with everything. Discord ambiguation, disambiguation, or whatever. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so Discord started in 2015. Oh wow, that's about as recent as I would expect. I have an accent. And it started originally for it was a service mostly for games and gamers. A lot of playing video games online. A lot of online games have had and did have and do have in-game chat functions. But for some people, they're really clunky. And for some games, they're basically bad. It is not a universally useful feature. And often people want to turn it off completely because, well, at least in my experience, I've often turned it off completely because specifically you get a lot of 12-year-olds who are testing out their ability to drop drop profanities and insult your mother. So I don't really want to listen to that. So I turn it off completely. They can't hear me, I can't hear them. And I don't know of any games where it's like a big group of people playing at once, and I've had good luck on a small group voice chat scale in game. So your games like your Fortnites or your MMOs like World of Warcraft or something, where there's a big group of people playing, and you just want to talk to like 5 of them, and you know the 5, and you want to talk to them specifically. I haven't really tried that very much because most of the time when I'm gaming with people like that, I did Star Wars: The Old Republic for a while, and I played with people who were like near me, so I could just talk to them. I didn't need voice chat; I just talked to them. And then also Discord exists. So, and I also use things like Google Hangout. But I've gotten really into Discord, especially in the quarantine time, because Discord, like many other web apps that have to do with communication among people who are not located geographically close to each other or physically close to each other, has really worked to make their product more useful and also, I hate this word, but more robust, have more features that people need for various things. So it started as a gaming platform thing for gamers, hardcore gamers, 100% gamers, game all the day, those sorts of people. But now especially, and I think for a while it's been trending this way, it has become more of just a social tool. In my memory of the 90s, I think it was the 90s when this was going on, were IRCs. So that's in chat. I have no idea how they work. I had to Google what IRC even stood for. But IRC was a popular way to communicate with your friends online. It was even pretty popular to make friends online through IRCs. It was like the original chat room before everyone had AOL Instant Messenger back in the 90s. And you would join an IRC, and it took a bit of like programming to get it to do exactly what you wanted it to do, but you could get it to do almost exactly what you wanted it to do. People created users that were basically just command line interface. So you could, they were bots, is what they're called. you could like type in a command to the chat room and the bot would do something. So, and usually, well, not the most experience I have with it is mostly funny stuff. Like you can have it insult somebody, or one that in the IRC channel that I was in was like throw a refrigerator at so and so. So like you could say like command refrigerator and then a username, and so then the bot would be like, he sneaks up carefully behind so and so, like including the username, and throws a refrigerator. It's just weird. I don't know. But you could also do useful things like roll dice if you needed to roll dice, or like pick a random number, or do math, or that sort of simple computing stuff. And people would have to program it into the IRC chat, the IRC IR chat, I guess. Yeah, IR chat, whatever. I don't know what people call it. You just call it the IRC, I think. But this was, it was basically an online gathering place. People would just like talk, and you'd be part of a regular one, and first thing in the morning, you might get some messages saying like good morning, or like telling people what they had for breakfast that day. Just sort of like shouting into the void, but the people who are listening because they're all in the same IRC. And then and you just like have regular conversations throughout the day, and there'd be like power users, people who are on all the time, and then people who are on at certain times. And this would be a good way to, like, if you did live close to each other, it would be a good way to plan things like, oh, let's all get together for board games at this place at this day. And so basically that's what IRC was, and it fell out of popularity. I wouldn't say favor. I don't think anyone who liked it when it was big stopped liking it, but it fell out of popularity because of the things like AOL Instant Messenger and all of like basically the messaging apps that exist now. But Discord has sort of become what IRC used to be, and it's a lot in the same way that the internet in general has been sort of democratized and is a lot easier to use for just a regular person who doesn't want to code up their own thing or like go looking very hard for what they want. Discord has become the IRC of our times, I guess, and it's great. It's really fun to. I don't know. It really brings me back to the chat room days, which were a wild day for those of you who were not alive or participating in chat rooms in the late '90s and early 2000s. Because that was primarily when I was in it. I know that it existed else times, but whatever. Chat rooms were wild. It was crazy. And Discord, like much of the internet, has gained some benefit from people existing with the internet for longer. So there's a lot more ability to be safe. I'm certain that you can be just as reckless on Discord as you could in the chat rooms. No one's like protecting you or anything, but you have the ability. There are tools you have to be more mindful of your own safety, your own internet safety, but then also of your own just like emotional health. If you're on the internet all day, it can do weird things to you. And I've been talking about Discord really generally, and that's probably not very interesting to most people. So let me just go off and talk about my personal experience with Discord. So my first Discord servers that I joined, I joined them because of they were the way to communicate. So the first Discord server that I joined, I think, roughly about the first one I joined was, there's no way you're gonna be able to see this, but it is called Richardson Raid Squad. So I live near Richardson, Texas, and I play Pokemon Go. So there is a feature of Pokemon Go that makes it more fun to play with people. But when I moved here, I only knew my husband, and I didn't know how to even find people who played Pokemon Go except to like go to the places in the real world that were important places in the game. But it just like weirded me out to like just go to people like, are you playing Pokemon Go? Can I you want to talk about it? Like, that's weird. So I found this Discord, and people and they basically do that. They basically say like, oh, we're gonna go, you know, this this raid is happening at this place. It's scheduled for this time. We need this many people to bring down this Pokemon. Sound off if you're coming. The people would just say that they're coming. They would say which team they're on, because it's better if you fight with your own team for various reasons. And then people would just drive over there and they just stand in big groups playing Pokemon, and you'd meet people this way and make friends this way, but also like get Pokemon. So that's like super important. I only did it a couple of times because I think by the time I got into it, it was around the time that I got a job. So then after that, I was like, ooh, I'm not doing this super often anymore, because I have to like be an adult now. But I'm still on the Discord, and I still get like the announcements and everything, and people are still doing it. They are doing car raids now, so they just drive around and they park near the thing, and they all get in the car. And so that was the first Discord I was a part of. But I didn't really get into the social aspect of it because I was just in it for the raids. I was just in it for the Pokemon, people. But let's see, after that, like looking at the ones that I am a part of, I got into some ones that were like book club related, or I think what really took off for me was when I joined Patreon, which is an online sort of like a subscription thing where you can subscribe to content creators online, artists on YouTube, people who you might otherwise not pay for their stuff just because you don't have to. Like, I can watch all these YouTube channels for free. I wouldn't pay for them necessarily, but I also like know that it must take a lot of effort for them to make these videos or whatever. So I'll throw them $1 a month or something like that. Same with podcasts. It's very popular for podcasts because you can get podcasts for free, but they're not free to make. So yeah, I joined Patreon, and there's a lot of integration between Patreon and Discord. So I started getting into the Discords of especially podcasts that I listen to, and it was really fun to like sort of have a social gathering space for people who obviously have something in common, like we listen to this podcast together, essentially. And but you're not necessarily talking about the podcast all the time. Like, that's one channel on the Discord, certainly, but at least one, usually multiple. But there's also just like a general chat where people just talk about their lives and like what's going on. And that once I like got into the world of podcast Discords, that I realized how cool that was, how much I wanted to be a part of that. And so then I run this meetup group that meets, well, not anymore, but it did meet in the North Dallas sort of area. Sorry, my nose like super itches. I think it's probably allergies or something, but anyway. Yeah, I run this meetup group, and it's a bunch of women who just get together and play board games. Mostly. I mean, we do other things too, that mostly involve games, but a lot of board game stuff. See my dog? she's very excited. We never opened this window, so she's like, brand new world. Anyway, so we would meet in the area and play board games. And I was running into problems as like the leader of this group because people would RSVP to events online and then not come, and that's annoying. I'll be honest, but I was always concerned, and it was a justified concern. I was always concerned that people would not come because they couldn't find us. Like they didn't know what they were looking for, or they had never been before, so they didn't know who they were looking for. They didn't recognize us. It happened a couple times, I know, because people told me about it afterwards, and they were like, "I couldn't find you," and I don't know. I'm not. There's a lot of reasons that I'm not. I describe myself on the website. I don't know how, and it's just we're in a gaming building that's full of a bunch of different groups of people, and we're the only group of people that's all women. So anyway, but that's uncharitable, but that's my thought. But anyway, I was concerned because I don't have any way of reaching out to these people to make sure that they know what's up. I don't have any way to text them or call them, or if something comes up, I don't want them to I don't know. I like to be able to tell people when I can't do something. So I felt bad that people didn't have that opportunity with me, really. And a bunch of other things happened in the group that made me think we should make this more socially integrated, I guess, so that it's easier for people to get involved. And one of the ways I decided to do that was to start a Discord server. So by starting a Discord server and inviting the people who came to the events, and we did this weeks ago, in February sometime, maybe even January. We did this, and we could talk about events before they were happening. So we could be like, "Oh, I want to bring this game," or "Does anyone have this game?" Without having to use the Meetup app that is sort of clunky, and I just don't look at very often, and I definitely don't want push notifications for, because it's too many push notifications. But then this whole quarantine thing happened, and I was waffling as to whether we should even. It was very, very beginning. I was waffling. I was like, should we even have these events in person anymore? I don't know. So many things are not allowing people to meet in person, and our numbers definitely aren't in the 50 to 250 range, but I just don't know if it's responsible. And at some point I just decided, no, we're not doing this. And I used that opportunity to message everybody in my group, and I was like, hey, we're not going to meet in person anymore, but there's a lot of ways that we can meet online. So if you want to join the Discord, we can try to still have meetups and play games and stuff online. And the Discord sort of exploded at that point. A bunch of people joined who had never even been to an event before, had just been sort of lurking on the group, because surprise, there's a big overlap between people who have depression and anxiety and people who like to play board games and role-playing games. I mean, that the Venn diagram of people who have depression and anxiety, especially social anxiety, and any other circle over here is almost a circle anyway. So and so it was, it's hard for people to get out and go to these meetups anyway. And the Discord was way more sort of approachable, because you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to see anybody. It's not as stressful, and you can put it down and walk away immediately without any repercussions. And so it's been much more engaging of a group since the lockdown, the shelter in place stuff, and I'm thankful for it. I'm very thankful for the Discord, for Discord in general, but specifically for the Discord, the two Discords that I'm actively a part of right now that are really active. I have a Discord group of like college friends, and it's mostly devolved into us just like trying to play games together. And like we have a bot on the Discord that does trivia games, and so then we just like do that. And we also like play a stupid lottery game. It's weird, but we're weird. And we also made emojis of each other's faces. It's great. And then this tabletop women's group that is, we play games together. Certainly, we go on Steam and we play Tabletop Simulator. We play RPG games online. There's a lot of ways to play games online, but we also just like sit around and talk. Like chatting, but then also there's a voice chat feature, so we sometimes just like sit and talk. And I've made the joke a bunch of times that I'm probably way more social now than I was when I was allowed to leave the house. So, and it's, I was worried when I initially decided to make the switch from like meeting in person to meeting online. I was worried that it was going to go the way that a lot of online communities have gone for me in the past, which is they're very cliquish and they're sort of hard to get into if you're not there from the beginning. And they're quickly like taken over by some like a handful of strong personalities. And what constitutes a strong personality is very different online than it is in person. Some people who are very strong personalities online are like the shyest people you would ever meet in person, but and vice versa. But I don't know. I'm sure for some people it does have that feeling to it, because I was there from the beginning, so I have a specific sort of feeling and experience with it. But I also know that I've made a lot of friends that I would not have met otherwise, and I've maintained connections with people that I have no other reason, especially now, to see or connect with. So it's really been in these wild times we live in. It has really been something that's kept me sane and happy. And I tried this for any family members who are watching this. I tried to make a Discord for us. Only Mandy joined. So good job, Mandy. But 3 people does not a Discord make. And we could just be chatting all the time and have fun family conversations all the time. But none of you wanted to just try a new app. I'm surprised not at all, because because I'm sure no one in my family has, well, not no one, but very few people in my family have any experience with Discord or chat apps similar to it. And so it's not for everybody. I will say it's not for everybody, but I have been surprised and delighted by how much I have gotten out of it, especially now. And if you live in the Dallas area and want to join in our woman identifying person and want to and you like to play games, let me know. I can shoot you an invite. Also, if you're a part of my family and you somehow missed the email when I sent you an invite, get at me and I'll send you another one. Please, please, please. Anyway, which is now almost 30 minutes. It's now starting to it's definitely starting to get sunny outside. So I'm guessing it's going to start getting warm, in which case I need to close my house in preparation for the great heating. I think I'm going to read a lot of books today. I think that's my goal for the day. I have some things I have to do for work, and I will do them. And then I'll just do other things, like read books. And cross animals. I have some very serious crossing of animals to do. But maybe next week I'll bring that. Things that I'm thinking about. Wandering Wednesday, getting old. Running out of things. I'm a very curious person and I like to Google things. So that's not getting old, but I do need people to suggest what I should wonder about, because that's more fun for me when people give me ideas. Thankful Thursday, getting a little bit warm around the edges, mostly because it ends up with me talking about myself a lot, and I don't know how much I like that. Um, so for those two specifically, Wondering Wednesday and Thankful Thursday, if you can come up with other, especially alliterative concepts, topics for me to talk about in my live stream on those days, I'd appreciate it. Otherwise, have a great day and a great rest of your week. Make good choices. Make good friends. Stay in school.